Liston Diario presents Sunday Reflections.
Another powerful reason not to write long texts. Writing short, explicit, and straightforward text remains a challenging task for newspaper opinion writers. Some believe that the more extensive, erudite, and rich in quotes from notable figures their articles are, the greater the guarantee of their reading or consumption on new digital platforms. But it turns out we're no longer in times when writing long and often convoluted sentences to convey an idea was a sure way to hook readers. We live in an era where, as Marty Baron, former director of the Washington Post, says, we have to speak to the public in a more informal, more accessible way, as if we were talking with our friends and family. Based on studies from the most prestigious institutions monitoring new media trends, today's readers, mostly young people, absorb information differently than before. Baron agrees with this view, pointing out that younger generations are more oriented toward the images and less toward the text. Attention spans are short, sometimes surprisingly short. He said in one of his talks at the IAPA, I often talk to our newspaper's writers about this new reality and advise them to produce text between 300 and 400 words, strictly focused on the core message or argument they wish to communicate. We have found that this model works very well for us in both print and digital formats. Our readership metrics indicate that regardless of the topic addressed, more readers begin or finish consuming these shorter pieces. In contrast, articles that extend beyond these metrics are rarely consumed by the majority. This poses the challenge of communicating ideas or arguments more briefly to a generation that, unfortunately for us, has an attention deficit. The advice from Master Baron, which I fully share, is that writers should turn the main course of the dinner into a tasting menu. Media consumers increasingly value brevity, immediacy, mobility, flexibility, and authenticity of content, whether informative or opinion-based, because in fact, younger generations are more oriented toward images and less toward text. And hence, it is now imperative to focus on the preferences of these new audiences that are more inclined toward images and less toward text.
Liston Diario presented Sunday Reflections.